Hi, this is Veronica, and you're listening to VoiceBridge, a space where we talk about personal transformation through experience, connection, and travel. Today's topic is 1 week in another culture. What has changed in me? Sometimes all it takes to see yourself differently is just a few days in a completely different world. Today we have a guest, Lisa, someone who spent just 1 week in a completely different culture environment and come back, change it, or maybe almost change. Lisa, hi, glad to have you with us. Tell us, how did it happen that you ended up in another culture? Was it planned or more of coincidence?
Hi, thanks for having me. Honestly, it was quite unexpected. It wasn't a big journey, more of a short trip. I didn't set out with the goal of immersing myself in another culture, but as it often happens, the culture found me instead.
You know, a week doesn't sound like much. What could really happen in 7 days?
That exactly what surprised me. At first, everything seemed ordinary. Different street, different food, a different language, but then these subtle internal shifts started happening.
What surprised you the most?
People's behavior, their relationship with me, with silence, with personal space, the way they greet each other, the way they make eye contact, the way they stay quiet.
Did you ever feel out of place in that new environment?
Absolutely. I remember walking down the street and feeling like I didn't belong, not because anyone made me feel that way, but because everything was so unfamiliar. The rhythm of life was different. People walked slower, they weren't constantly checking their phones. They greeted each other with a level of warmth I wasn't used to. It was beautiful, but also disorienting. For the first couple of days, I felt like I was watching life from the outside, not fully part of it.
Were there moments of awkwardness, misunderstandings, or cultural glitches?
Oh, yes, definitely. One moment that stuck with me was when I tried to join a casual conversation and I used a gesture that's totally normal when I'm from, but there it meant something completely different. The reaction was subtle, but I could feel that I had crossed a line without meaning to. There were also small things like entering a shop and not knowing whether I should greet the owner or just look around quietly, or when I stood too close to someone in line without realizing that personal space norms were very different. These little glitches taught me more than any guidebook ever could.
How did you respond? Did you try to adapt or stick to your usual ways?
At first, I definitely stuck to what felt familiar. You kind of build this invisible bubble around yourself when you're in a new place. But after a couple of days, I started to learn more. I paid attention to how people moved, how they interacted, how they reacted to certain things. I didn't force myself to copy them, but I tried to listen and adjust naturally. It felt like learning a new rhythm, and I liked how it made me more aware of everything around me.
What seemed incredibly strange at first, but later made sense, or even felt right?
The way people approach time. For example, meals took longer and no one seemed in a hurry to finish. At first, I was a bit impatient. I thought, why was everything taking so long? But then I realized they were actually enjoying each moment. Time wasn't something to conquer, it was something to experience. And once I slowed down too, it stopped feeling strange. It started feeling right.
Did you start to question any of your own beliefs?
Absolutely. I started to notice the invisible rules I live by, like always being on time, always being efficient, always having a plan. In that other culture, things were more flexible, more intuitive. At first, I judged it a little. I thought they should be more organized. But then I asked myself, why? Maybe there is value in being more fluid, more relaxed. It really made me reflect on how we define productivity or respect or being polite.
Were there any habits or ways of thinking that you wanted to take back home with you?
Yes, quite a few. One of them was just the ability to be more present. People there seemed to really engage in the moment. Whether they were drinking coffee or having a conversation, I realized how often I'm physically present but mentally already on to the next thing. That's something I want to change. to slow down and give my full attention to whatever I'm doing. It sounds small, but it shifts your entire experience of life.
1 week and so many questions. Listening to you, I start to wonder, how quickly do we change when everything around us changes?
Faster than we think. When we are surrounded by the familiar, we don't really notice ourselves changing. But when the environment shifts, even for a week, we're suddenly more alert, more reflective. We pay attention, and in that space, small shifts happen. We might not come back completely transformed, but we do come back with new eyes.
How many ways are there to be in the world, and which one feels truly our own?
There are so many. That's what travel teaches you. There isn't one correct way to live. There are thousands of ways. And each culture holds a different version of wisdom. I think the key is to stay open and curious, to ask, what can I learn from this? And to give yourself the freedom to create your own mix, your own way of being that feels right for you.
Thank you for being with us. Share your stories, ask yourself questions, and don't be afraid to change, even in just 7 days. See you next time on VoiceBridge.